Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I drive Michigan in the B car today. I wanted to point out the relative over here, or the split times over here on the left, or wherever you may have it positioned on your screen. If you hit your tab key, it'll come up. You can check to have the reference car, which is actually the ghost car of your last lap, I do believe, or of the, no, it would be the ghost car of the fast lap, or however you have it set. But you can switch it with your keep hitting your tab key, and it'll switch to different times. And what I do is when I'm testing, I keep my versus session best lap. That means the time that I'm running my at that moment is showing against my best lap at the track. So that kind of helps me know in this session, in this test session that I'm doing, how close where I'm losing time, where I'm gaining time, so on and so forth. And I'll show a little bit more of that as we go along. And you'll see it. There'll be a bar up at the top, and so we'll go out and we'll run a few laps. Like I said, this is going to be conservative race laps. I'm just going to try to show you the lines and let off points. And this is default weather, and I'm running the default Michigan setup at 12-to-1 steering ratio. So you see that goes negative, that number goes to the red, which means this lap is a lot slower, which obviously you're going to have that on your very first lap. But as you get up to speed and everything, you'll see how it tells you whether you're slower or faster than your fastest lap. So it gives you something to look at. You can also switch it to previous lap, I do believe. So as of right now, I'm 2/10 slower than my fastest lap in this test session. So I'm going to let off here at the gray, on that little gray thing on the right. I'm going to ease back into the gas, and then now I'm full throttle, driving off to the wall. And then I'm going to take it down to the bottom of the track.
40.792.
Go up to the wall. I'm going to let off at the safer barrier where it starts until the nose settles, and then I'm going to get back into the gas. It's going to try to swing out just a little bit right there, so you got to kind of steer to the right just a little bit to keep it from spinning out and spinning your tires. So I let off at the gray there at the wall. The nose comes down, I ease back into the gas, full throttle. Drive it up to the wall and back down to the bottom.
40.718.
Same thing, up to the wall, let off at the safer barrier. Let the nose come down till it settles, till you can get back into the gas, and ease back into the gas, and then full throttle. Up to the wall, drive all the way up to the wall, steering to the right just a little bit, so you don't burn them rear tires off. Ease into the gas to bring it rear end around, and then full throttle, and I'm steering to the right just a little bit to keep them tires from spinning in the rear, and it takes me up to the wall, which gives me the most track and the best speed in theory. So let off at the safer barrier, no brakes. I'm not using any brakes at this point. A little gas, full throttle. I almost got into the full throttle too quick, so I had to kind of put some more wheel in it. Let off at the gray, let the front end come down until it feels like it quits pushing, then ease back into the gas, and then full throttle coming off the 4.
40.911.
If you start letting off too early, and too late by driving in too hard. You're going to burn these front tires off, and it's not going to turn at all. It's going to push straight up to the wall when you go in. So we're going to let off here. It's gray, that little shadow on the wall. I'm going to ease back into the gas, and now full throttle coming off. Steering to the right just a little bit to keep those rear tires from that rear end trying to come around on you. You keep all that grip behind you, pushing you.
40
Come down to the bottom.
834.
Let off at the ease back into the gas, full throttle.
.817.
Okay, you can just see my steering wheel. See, I got back into the gas a little bit too soon there, so it pushed coming out. So now I had to let off. Now I lost all that momentum that I had built up. So we got to build it back up. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep, if you run with your steering wheel on the screen, I'm trying to keep that red tape on screen. I know it's bouncing off the screen a little bit, if depending on where your field of view is set when you're watching this. Well, you're seeing what I'm seeing, so I guess it don't matter. But I'm trying to keep that tape in the window that lets me know that I'm not turning my wheel no more than I really need to get it to turn. If you have to stay off the gas longer, stay off the gas longer. It's just saving those tires. That's the key. That's the key to these cars at the long haul. You gotta just let off early and let it roll. Let it roll, let it roll. Ease back into the gas and then back full throttle. Now I'm staying on the above the asphalt strip at the bottom. I don't like that because it gets loose.
41.103.
I'm not using any brake. Now you can drive it in a little farther and use brake if you like. That's up to you. And we may be able to even do that and gain some speed. But right now I'm just concerned about saving these tires. We'll try to use some brake. We'll start driving it in a little bit farther and use a little brake and see what happens.
41.067.
You can see where it went green. That means we're driving it in faster than what we was. But we're slower coming off because we have to slow down to make that turn. So you can do it. You can do it that way as well. It's just all on your style. I try to use as little brake as possible.
40.956.
You might be able to get more consistent times if you use your brakes. It might be better. Last lap was a 40.9, so, and I'm just using a very little bit of brake. I mean, just a skosh. And it looks like we're picking up a little speed. So maybe using your brake is the way to go. Just a little bit, drive it in a little bit past that wall, and then just touch the brake to get it to calm down in the front, and then back in the gas. Now I don't know how long you're going to be able to keep your tires that way, but like I said, I'm driving it a little bit harder than what I was, so putting a little bit more wheel into it, getting on the gas a little bit sooner, harder. And now we're getting down there a little bit better. But we're also driving a little harder. You may be able to get away with that.
40.834.
When you're driving into the turn and you're turning your wheels and your front tire starts sliding, you feel it feeling like it's getting loose. You're going in way too fast. You got to start backing that corner up. See, now we're pushing up. I got into it too hot, too soon.
40.854.
So a little bit of brake is going to be faster. You're going to have faster times, but you're going to burn your tires off a little bit more. It just depends on short run, long run. Depends on the situation. Anytime that line up there goes green, the line up in the middle of the screen, anytime that goes green, that means you're faster in that section or that part or wherever it's at than what you was on your fastest lap. I didn't use no brake that time, and that front end didn't want to come down. So now I'm scrubbing my tires off. So now I'm going to have to use the brake. What's happening when you touch that brake is it's taking that weight from the rear end that your throttle has thrown all that weight back to the back, and when you touch that brake, it's rolling that weight forward, which puts weight on that front end and helps it to turn as well. So a little bit of brake probably would be a good idea to run this car, because it does turn down quicker with just a touch of brake. To whereas when I was letting it roll in there with just rolling off the throttle, the nose wasn't coming down fast enough. So a little bit of brake may be the way to go. And just conserve your tires with your steering wheel. Try not to turn the wheel too hard, and try not to have the wheel turn too far coming off, which will allow your rear tires to spin. You don't want that either. Probably let off at the same let off points, and just use a little bit of brake, and it'll just let you get back into the gas a little quicker. So there's a couple different ways there to do it. There's probably even more than a couple, but and some people may even be running the higher lines. You may be able to try that if you think you can run it better on the upper line, then that would be something to try. You never know.
41.056.
So now we're using brake, and we're still down in the 40. We just came out of the 40s into the 41s. And so I don't know if it's, yeah, I'm burning off the tires. So it'll take a couple laps for the tires to come back. So I'm going to ease off a little early, ease into the gas, and then hammer on. Try to conserve them tires just a little bit.
41.376. 41.134.
At least we got some tire fall off. I mean, it's you have to conserve your tires now. You have to be careful. You start going in here real hot like this, and you're gonna have to use more brake to slow it down. You're gonna be slower coming off. You're gonna burn up your tires. We'll burn these tires up real quick. Start using a lot of wheel. Use that wheel, get that front end to come down, and then you get back in the gas, and you're pushing your front tires and just scrubbing off all the grip.
.246.
See, that rear end doesn't want to come around now. So you got to back in corners up. That's the main thing. And I hope I help somebody. Give you some ideas of what to try and things to do. There you have it. A few laps at Michigan in the B car. Good luck.